welcome back to Soccer Punter for game week. In this video I'll be looking at Arsenal versus Wolves, Nottingham Forest versus Everton and Newcastle versus Man United on Saturday, as well as the Chelsea v Brighton and Man City v Spurs matches on Sunday. We'll start at Emirates as league leaders Arsenal host Wolves. A 1-0 win at Brentford last weekend moved Arsenal to the top of the table with a record of 9 wins, 3 draws and 1 loss. The Gunners are unbeaten in 7 games at Emirates so far this season and have scored 2 or more goals in 6. The one occasion they failed to score multiple goals was their 1-0 victory over champions Manchester City. Wolves conceded their 4th and 5th penalties of the season at Craven Cottage last weekend in a 3-2 defeat to Fulham. That loss means it's 4 wins, 3 draws and 6 losses for Gary O'Neill's side. They've scored in 12 out of 13 Premier League matches so far while only keeping the 1 clean sheet. Going back to the start of last season, Arsenal have dropped points in only 7 out of 26 home games. There have been 103 goals scored at Emirates in that sample, which is an average of 3.96 per game. Since Mikel Arteta took charge of the Gunners, they've recorded a 74% win record against lower half sides. Since the start of last season, Wolves have only won 4 out of 26 away games. All of those 4 wins were against lower half opposition. Wolves' 26 away games had 70 goals, which is an average of 2.69 per game. They lost this fixture 5-0 last season at Emirates. Given their excellent home record when going off as favourites, as well as the number of goals scored at Emirates, I'm backing Arsenal to win and over 2.5 goals. I can't see them losing this game, I can see lots of goals, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if Wolves contribute to the scoring. The City ground sees Nottingham Forest host Everton next. Nottingham Forest squandered another lead last weekend, eventually going down 3-2 to Brighton. That takes their record to 3 wins, 4 draws and 6 losses. They failed to score in 3 out of 13 games, with all 3 of those blanks coming away from home. They've kept 3 clean sheets this season, with only one of those being at the City ground. Everton went down 3-0 when hosting Man Utd last weekend, which means they've now won 4, drawn 2 and lost 7. They've scored in 7 of their last 10 games, only drawing blanks against Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester United. They've kept just 2 clean sheets overall so far this season. Since returning to the Premier League last season, Nottingham Forest have only failed to score in 2 out of 25 home games. Those blanks were against top sides in Tottenham and Manchester United. This is a must-win game for Steve Cooper, who is apparently under pressure and could be sacked if Forest don't get a positive result here. Since Sean Dyche took over Everton, they've played 15 away games and have conceded in all but 2 of them. Despite sitting second bottom of the table, the Toffees have had the 5th most shots, 9th most shots on target and have generated the 10th most XG. This fixture ended in a 2-2 draw last season. I think there's goals in this game, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that both teams to score was at a backable price of -125. That's quite unusual these days for a Premier League game. The late game on Saturday is at St James's Park and it's Newcastle United versus Manchester United. Newcastle's 4-1 win over Chelsea last time out has the Magpies sitting 7th, having won 7, drawn 2 and lost 4 of the 13 games so far. They've won the XG battle in 10 out of 13 and are the joint second highest scorers in the division. Only one team has kept more clean sheets than Eddie Howe's men. Manchester United's 3-0 victory at Everton means they're up to 6th in the league, just 4 points off the Champions League places, with a record of 8 wins and 5 losses. They're the division's most in-form side, having picked up 15 points from their last 6 matches. Since the start of last season, Newcastle have only lost 3 out of 26 home games. They've scored in all 7 games at St James's Park this season, keeping clean sheets in 4 out of 7. Despite several injuries in the squad, Eddie Howe should be able to name a strong starting 11. Manchester United's victories have all come against bottom half opponents. Despite the 3-0 scoreline against Everton last weekend, they lost the XG battle. Their 4 games against top half sides have all ended in defeat, and Erik ten Hag is without several key players, particularly up the spine. Given their strong home record, as well as the fact that Manchester United are still dealing with a number of injuries to key personnel, I'm going to back Newcastle to win this game. We start Sunday morning at Stamford Bridge as Chelsea entertain Brighton. Chelsea were humbled 4-1 by Newcastle last weekend, which leaves them in 10th place with 4 wins, 4 draws and 5 losses. The Blues have struggled in both boxes this season, creating plenty of chances but ultimately missing too many. They've also kept just 3 clean sheets. Brighton ended a run of 6 games without a win, with a 3-2 victory at Nottingham Forest last weekend. Roberto De Zerbi's side sit 8th in the table with 6 wins, 4 draws and 3 losses. All 13 of their games have seen both teams score, with 10 of 13 going over 2.5 goals. Since the start of last season, Chelsea have won 15 of 51 league games. In that sample, they've beaten just 2 current top half sides in Aston Villa and Tottenham, the latter of which played with 9 men for a portion of that game. Their last clean sheet against a top half team was a 0-0 tie with Liverpool back in January. Since Roberto De Zerbi was appointed 45 games ago, Brighton have been the great entertainers. 160 goals have been scored in that sample, which is an average of 3.55 per game. 33 out of those 45 have seen both teams score, while 32 out of 45 have gone over 2.5 goals. There's a lack of clean sheets between these two. All of Brighton's games so far have seen both teams score, and then we're only looking for one more, so we're going to go with over 2.5 goals and both teams to score at a decent price of -120. The final game of the weekend comes from the Etihad, where Man City welcome Tottenham Hotspur. Man City were held to a 1-1 draw by Liverpool last weekend, which means they dropped to second in the league with 9 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses. They're the top scorers in the division with 33 goals and have scored in 12 out of 13 games so far. They've also won the XG battle in 11 of 13. After going 10 games unbeaten at the start of the season, Spurs have now lost their last 3 in a row, leaving them in 5th position with 8 wins, 2 draws and 3 losses. They've scored in every game so far, but have only kept 4 clean sheets, 3 of which came against Bournemouth, Luton and Fulham, who all occupy bottom half positions. Man City haven't lost a game at the Etihad in over 13 months. Their draw against Liverpool last weekend ended a 15-game winning streak in front of their own fans. They scored 2 or more goals in 13 of those 15 games, and the City squad is now approaching full strength. Tottenham continue to play an attacking style regardless of the opposition. They rank 3rd for shots and shots on target, but they also rank 12th for expected goals against. They continue to be without their starting centre-backs, but they'll be happy to have Yves Bissouma back after serving a suspension. Because of their home record, I'm going to back Man City to win this, and I'm going to combine it with both teams to score, because Spurs have scored in every game so far, and we have seen that Man City are susceptible to the counter-attack. That's all for match week 14 of the Premier League. Thanks for listening, and if you're enjoying the content, please hit like and subscribe. Also be sure to check out the Gamblers Paradise Discord. We've got a great team of experts in there covering a wide range of sports, and you can find the link to join in the description of this video. I'll be back next week with more picks and predictions, so until then, best of luck with all your bets this weekend. Have a good one. Bye bye.